Hey guys, how are you? This is Alina again, and today I'd like to talk about something that worries everyone is what to pack to the hospital, what to put in the hospital bag. Given that I live in America, it probably might be different. It's probably actually going to be different from most countries. I know it's very different from Belarus, where I'm from. So again, I'll be talking about my experience of delivery in America. So here, the way the health system, the insurance system is set up, you don't have to worry about almost nothing that you have to take to the hospital with you. They give you diapers, they give you wipes. The second the baby is born, they are offering the clothes. They give things for mom. So it's really just few things that we have to be mindful of. And I've come up with a few things that in my opinion is a good idea to consider having in your bag, things that you might not need and hopefully you won't need, but had I had them before, I think few of my experience would have been different at that time. I'll start with things that you don't have to take, in my opinion. So I've delivered myself. I did not have a C-section, so keep that in mind. And once it happens, for the first time, for the first few weeks, and especially for the first few days in the hospital, you are gonna have some surprising things happening to you that no one talks about. It's a lot of blood stains happening. There's a lot of discharges of different types. Because the baby just came out of you. So I'm gonna show you a few things that I don't need. I actually gonna be using my son's clothes as prototype just to make it more fun. So that's not really something that you're gonna need. Again, I've taken it with me and I put it away right away because it gets dirty from blood so quick. You're not gonna wash it over there, and it's definitely a bad idea to put it in the bag and wash it back home, because by the time you're gonna get home it's gonna be very hard to wash that. That is my son's pajama, so that's standing as a prototype for something pretty for us, as a nightgown or nice pajama that I actually took with me to take nice pictures and to look pretty. But my reality was that, again, with everything going on with you physiologically, physically, it gets dirty so fast, and it's literally just waste of space in your bag, and it's just more laundry bringing to the house. What they do give you in the hospital is really cool. I think they call it meshed underwear. It's really disposable underwear that is very convenient. It's very stretchy. Once it's of no use anymore, it goes to trash. The same with the gown. They do have super ugly, very clean and very comfortable gowns that you can have a clean one every day, and I just think that it's very, very comfortable and very convenient for the first few days when you're exhausted and when laundry is the last thing on your mind. Another thing that I don't think anyone should take is actually pillow. I've seen so many girls saying that they really miss their house pillow. It was so comfortable, and so on and so forth. That hadn't been my experience, to be honest. There are plenty of pillows in the hospital, so for me it just didn't make sense. Again, you don't have to bring things like pump. If you're thinking to pump, they provide it for you. Guys, don't take with you a lot of stuff for the baby. Again, they provide things for the baby, and there is no need to bring 3-4 sets of clothes for each day. There is no point. Now, there are things that I suggest considering that, again, I didn't have with me, but I wish I did. A bottle. They definitely provide bottles. I was planning on establishing breastfeeding, and that was my goal, and I've heard billions of times how natural that process is and it comes so easily. It hadn't been my experience. What happened to me is that I guess the way my son, this is my first baby, and the way he was latching had not been correct way, and he bruised me very, very bad within the first hour. It was insanely painful, and because I've heard that, again, it's okay, that it's like that at the beginning, you just have to deal with that. It's not okay. You don't have to deal with that. So since I couldn't bear the pain and continue breastfeeding, I had to make a decision to start pumping and to give pump milk with a bottle. Now, the bottle that they give you, the nipple, the hole in the nipple is very, very large. So when they drink the milk, it comes out so easily. So the baby is like gulping the milk. So it's not good for multiple reasons that I think are obvious. And one of the reasons that, because it's so easy for a baby to drink from the bottle, why on the earth would they want to go back to breastfeeding and really work for that milk? So that brand, Tommee Tippee, this is not a commercial, I've found that they're the only ones that I came across who have a nipple that has extra slow flow, and I've tried it. It's really extra slow flow, and the way I see it's very comparable to the breastfeeding process. So again, if you're gonna be in the position where you're establishing breastfeeding, have that, because the baby won't see a significant difference in the flow of the milk between the bottle and the breast. Another thing that I think might be good to have is this is the cover for this is the box for a nipple cover. It's empty, but that's how it looks like. It's good to have a nipple cover. They do have them in the hospital. The problem is that they don't always have your size. Most of us think that we're medium, but in fact we're small. So they gave me the wrong size. It didn't work out. So it's good to find the right size for you in advance, to have it. They're cheap, really, $5-6. And again, if the baby is latching very, very strong, it's good to have it. It's gonna make the breastfeeding more pleasant for moms from the very beginning. And also something that they do have, usually, I don't want to show the brand, but this is just a reminder for me, it's the Nipple Cream. Regardless if you're going to be breastfeeding or pumping, it's going to help you with soothing the pain, because so many things happen to your breast out of blue moon, and the breasts aren't always ready for it. So I've talked about how you don't really have to have pillows. I think you should have blankets with you. I was giving birth in July. AC is on. I'm always cold, so I was freezing. In the hospital, it was really cold because I had oh my goodness, I had a really cold room, and I don't think you're able to control the temperature. So and they give you the blankets that they give you, they're like really thick sheets. I've asked for like 5. It still wasn't enough. So having a normal blanket that my husband brought me later, that was a lifesaver. Guys, do you have comfortable clothes for you for when you leave the hospital, because you're changing? Again, whether you have a C-section or you have a vaginal delivery, something is gonna hurt, so you might want to have a loose cloth, maybe a dress, or like a long skirt might be a good solution, so it's not tight, nobody has to see your um, underwear, things like that. Do you have comfortable shoes or flip-flops? I had IVs, so my legs, my feet were really, really swollen. So I think I got in the hospital in some shoes that I couldn't fit upon leaving the hospital. So I just didn't have any shoes, I think, in the car. So think of the shoes for the hospital, because there is a good chance you won't be able to fit into the shoes or whatever sandals that you got into the hospital. And probably the last thing is, I've talked about to not bring a bunch of stuff for the babies. What you do want to bring is a comfortable, soft clothes for a baby to leave the hospital. That's my experience. Just think that this tiny baby is born. The baby isn't used to being touched all the time. So having a really beautiful but not soft and very tight clothes, I think it's gonna be stressful for you guys as putting on, because the baby's so tiny, you're afraid to break the baby, and for the baby, because you have to pull, you have to squeeze. So maybe something that has extra wide opening for the head, because the head is big, as we know that. It's very soft cotton. You're gonna find a bunch of cute but comfortable clothes, pieces of clothes. Maybe a blanket, or I think this is a like a large, really thin blanket. So again, if it's summer, if it's winter, either way, you want to make sure the baby is not too hot and not too cold. I'm not going to talk about if you have to bring toothpaste or shampoo. I think everybody can decide and see if the hospital provides those things. I'm not going to talk about music, what type of music to bring. That's not, I didn't have time for that. But again, so these are the things that I didn't find useful, and there are the things that I didn't have, but I wish I did. And I hope that is going to be helpful for you. Maybe you learned something that you didn't think of before. And thanks again for watching. I'm waiting for questions, comments, suggestions. See you later, guys.